Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, I'm going to be doing my Vasyl Lomachenko, Nicholas Walters pre-fight prediction and breakdown video very, very soon. Probably tomorrow. You can expect that sometime tomorrow. Because I haven't really been able to cover that fight like I wanted to, and I gotta get some coverage done for that. But anyway, what I wanted to begin with by saying what this matchup was, because Vasyl Lomachenko, in the eyes of some people, like for example, I was at the 5th Street Gym. Shout out to the 5th Street Gym on South Beach. I go there quite frequently. I'm gonna be going there quite frequently because there's some pretty cool things happening there. But I go there for interviews, and this past weekend I ran into Orlando Cuellar, who is a boxing trainer, boxing coach. He's working with Antonio Tarver right now, but he also worked with Tarver when Tarver was in his prime, Brandon Bartholomew, and he also worked with Nicholas Walters. So that being said, he has a good gauge on who Nicholas Walters is as a fighter. And look, Nicholas Walters is a pretty good fighter. I think, over the last couple of months here on the YTBC, because of people's love for Lomachenko, they've kind of diminished Nicholas Walters, who he is as a fighter. But I think he's a very skilled fighter. Someone who that deserves more respect than he's getting. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. But the reason a lot of us are picking Lomachenko to beat Walters is not because it literally has nothing to do with Walters. I think Walters is definitely a talented fighter, and I think he can give a lot of guys problems. But when you talk about a guy like Lomachenko, I feel when you talk about his skill set, there's very few fighters that come around every couple. There's only a couple fighters that come around every couple of years that possess this kind of skill set. The ability to be unbalanced at every punch, the ability to slip punches, have really good speed, have thunderous power behind it, and not just that, understanding a rhythm, understanding of distance, and an understanding of timing. A lot of fighters don't have all three of those things, understanding of rhythm, distance, and timing. Lomachenko, I feel, and look, you guys know I'm a big Roman Gonzalez fan, but even more so than Gonzalez, I feel like he has a better understanding of rhythm, distance, and timing than Roman Gonzalez. And because he does, and because of what he's done in his career, owning 7 fights, beating the likes of Gary Russell Jr., handing him his first loss in decisive fashion. In my opinion, he beat Toledo but didn't get the decision. Fighting a guy like that, a second fight, beating him, moving up and fighting, Roman Martinez, who's probably the weakest champion in the division, but still moving up and not just beating him, but beating him convincingly. I feel like what he's done in 7 fights deserves a lot of credit. And to be honest with you guys, Nicholas Walters, and this is my own personal opinion, so you can agree to disagree, but I feel like that if he has a convincing winner with Nicholas Walters, to me that's the best win of his career. I consider Nicholas Walters a more skilled fighter and a better fighter than Gary Russell Jr. And Nicholas Walters can crack. Nicholas Walters has long arms. Nicholas Walters, I feel, although he's not anywhere near boxing level as far as pure boxing skills as Lomachenko, I feel like he has some underrated skills boxing-wise. And if Lomachenko goes in there and he does what he's done for pretty much all of his other 7 fights, which is paint a perfect picture, have a virtuoso performance of the highest order, turn fighters, create new angles, just what he's always done. Be a really good inside fighter, outside fighter, being able to slip punches, counter punch, just showing that he's a complete fighter across the board. I feel like if he stops Nicholas Walters, I'll say this: if he stops Nicholas Walters, I think even someone like me, who is a huge Roman Gonzalez supporter, someone who's definitely thinks Roman Gonzalez is better than most in boxing, just based on what Lomachenko's been able to do in 8 fights after that fight. If he's able to stop Nicholas Walters, I might have to consider putting him number 1, to be honest with you guys. Not because he's beaten more name opposition than Roman. It's the fact that he's beaten so much name opposition in such little time and in such impressive fashion. And he's done, and in doing so, he showed a complete skill set, even more so than Roman. Because as much as I like Roman, Vasyl Lomachenko gets hit a lot less than Roman does, just because he opens up a lot less. And when he does those punches, he's not like right in front of you, or he's not kind of leaning to the side. If Loma's going to punch you, he might throw 1 or 2 punches, but he's stepping to the side, and you don't even know he's on the other side of you, and boom, a left hook is coming, a left hook is coming, a right hook's coming, whatever's coming. He has so many different punches. He throws punches in so many different ways, and like Orlando Cuellar, who I just met recently, who coached Tarver, like I told you guys. He has a really good understanding of what the sweet science is, and I value his opinion on boxing a lot. And he didn't influence me anyway, but I went back after he said that. I went back and I've been watching a lot of Lomachenko's fights, and I've always thought of him as one of the only guys in boxing who could overtake Roman as the pound number one. Kovalev, although Kovalev lost, and Terrence Crawford, and maybe Golovkin as well. Those four guys, Loma, Crawford, Kovalev, and Golovkin. I feel like all four of those guys have been jockeying for position and could all one day be number one over Roman. But it's going to be a lot of more so them dominating at a higher level than Roman has, and that's a lot to ask for, because Roman's a damn good fighter and he's been dominating a lot of good competition. So if he stops Nicholas Walters this week, I'm going to have a lot of thinking to do as far as where I put him as far as best fighters in boxing. But you got to at least agree that as far as being a complete fighter, the closest thing you get to that in boxing, just from a skill standpoint, not who they beat, not none of that. I'm talking about the skills. From a skill standpoint, any weight class in boxing, Lomachenko has a very great case for number one. You probably had to put him number one. In my opinion, him and Roman are 1A and 1B. But in this case, I think if he stops Walters, I might have to do something I don't really want to do. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm looking really excited for it. Maybe if Walters gets the upset, hey, that would be huge for his career, because Lomachenko's a hell of a fighter. But all together, I think this is going to be a great fight. It's probably, to be honest with you guys, I was excited for the Pacquiao fight. I was kind of excited for Ward Kovalev when it was first made, but really the one I've been most excited for is this one, because I think I'm a big fan of both these guys watching them fight. So we'll see what happens this week. Let me know what you guys think. If Lomachenko wins, because a lot of people have him in the top 5. Ring has him in the top 5, I believe. It might be 6 now. If Lomachenko wins, how far do you think he's being pound for pound number one, and would you even consider putting him number one on your personal list? Is he the best and most complete fighter in boxing today? Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.